Get around in 2 hours. I'm looking up and down.
How much 20 muscle pounds? It's over $1,000. Put it over $10,000.
Hey, what's going on?
Just stick up.
What is that?
Get over there. Joe, come on. Get up. Just stick up. Just get to the front of the store. Come on, lady. Move. Get up. Come on. Get over there. Come on.
Okay.
Put your money in the bag. Fast. There isn't that much in here. There's the rest of it. What are you? Come on, then. Where are you? Take your time. Get it out of the register. Give me that. Come on. Just look at it. Get the other register. Put it in. Everything you got. Easy with the cash box. Get all the money. Take your time. Cops. Jake, oh no. You Bristol pen. Come on. Come on. No. Come on. I swear on you. Let's go. I got it. Come on. Car. Shut the door. Shut it. The hell he didn't? Hey. Oh no. Come on.
Happy birthday to you.
Hey, is there another door out of here?
No, just the one you came through. Sir?
Don't anybody move. What about those windows, Jake?
No. All right, look, we're all right as long as we got them.
These are children.
You shut up! Look, everybody just shut up and nobody will get hurt. Here, look, tell them we got hostages. Go on, come on, kids, little kids. Tell them we got that and that'll back them off. Come on, go on! Hey, we got kids in here. You want to see them get hurt?
Say, kids, while we wait, why don't we just try scratching out the squares on our prize cards? Shall we do that?
I'm at the point where I don't think I can stand one more think piece about an emerging nation I never heard of. Sri Lanka. New problems for an old land.
Well, life isn't all just breaking news.
I know. I guess it's the idea of a page one story that begins every morning just before sunrise. Dim Hong Soo drives his ox cart into market. Doesn't set my pulse racing.
Mrs. Pynchon likes those stories.
And she can read them every day in her Christian Science monitor.
Lou, there's a couple of gunmen holed up at Mr. Ginty's restaurant in Newhall. They got a bunch of kids hostage.
86 Sri Lanka put in Newhall.
Who are we sending?
Billy's on her way out there.
Photog too?
Animal.
All right, let's stop crowding, folks. Move back. We have some emergency vehicles coming in right now. Anyone without business here should go home. Let's move back to the sidewalk now, please.
Yeah, there would be 10 kids and 2 adults, a mother and a restaurant employee.
Anyone hurt?
Not by us. We haven't fired a shot. Very volatile situation.
Yes, I realize that.
You people keep back there, will you please? That's a police barricade.
My son is in there, my little boy.
Now, look, take it easy. As far as we can tell, the kids haven't been harmed, and we're determined to keep it that way. Now, behind the barricades, please.
My name is Billy Newman. I'm with the Tribune. May I ask your name?
Vivian Hamlin. My little boy Ricky is at that party. Who's in there?
They don't know yet, Mrs. Hamlin.
Why are the police all waiting rifles? Why doesn't somebody talk to them?
They are talking to them. Will you tell me who's at that party?
Why don't they just give them what they want?
Maybe they don't know what they want yet. How old is Ricky?
They've established telephone communication with the guys in there, and they brought in a psychiatrist.
Maybe I can get a message through to Ricky.
Ah, here comes TV. Now we have to see some action.
Hi, Billy. What's happening? Hi, Peggy. Nothing yet.
This is the police barricade. Everyone is supposed to stay outside of it, and that particularly applies to you TV people.
Nice to be special.
Hey, you hang in there, Billy. We'll be going with what you called in for the early edition, and we'll keep updating as you give us a word.
Tell her to be careful.
Hold on a second, Billy. What?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
Nothing. I feel silly now. Forget it.
Okay. Keep us posted, Billy. We'll be standing by. And listen, you be careful, okay?
This is good stuff that Billy is sending in, but why didn't she interview that father who offered to change places with his kids?
Where'd you get that?
Peggy Day just interviewed him on Channel 6.
Well, why don't you turn the volume up real loud, Charlie? We'll just copy it down.
I merely mentioned it.
Look, why don't you grab your coat? Right over there.
Yeah, this is Angelo. Yeah? The kids?
Listen, Loretta. These men are going to go real soon. We're going to be okay.
You forget it, man. You just keep talking.
She's got to have her insulin. If she doesn't have it, she'll go into a coma.
Angelo, what's the problem? They want the kids first. Oh, no way, Jose. Hey, listen, you tell me to get rid of the SWAT squad, to get us a car, to let us go, then they get the kids. Look, you get the car first, and the kids won't get hurt.
Look at her. Look at her. She's got to have her insulin. She's got to have it now. Can't you see that?
Will you shut up? I can't hear!
She'll die. Do you want that?
Lady, just
My
shut up.
little girl is sick. She has to have her insulin.
All right, get her out of here. Lady, just get her out of here. No, everybody else just stay where you are. Get back. All right, you just go on, beat it. Go on, beat it. All right, just get back where you are. Sit down.
All right, take it easy now. Hold your fire.
What happened?
They've gone back to regular programming, but they'll cut the live
I
coverage.
don't mean what happened on the TV. I mean at the restaurant.
They're giving them the car they asked for, but it's not there yet.
They kept those kids sitting there all night?
Well, at least they won't starve. Oh, they're back to live.
I got to a guy who works at the state hospital. One of those two gunmen's an outpatient, been in treatment for years.
Tell them they didn't do such a terrific job. City desk. Hey, Billy, how are you? Did you get any sleep?
A little. A lot more than those kids did, I'll bet. Everything's just sort of on hold here, Lou.
Some of these parents are beside themselves.
I can imagine. Wait a minute, Billy. Why is the SWAT team leaving?
You tell me. I didn't know they were. You seem to have a better seat than I have.
This is Marjorie Whitewood. Back to you.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
I think that's all of them. Better be. The car by the door? It's right out there with the keys. Hey, kids, you're going out. One at a time when I tell you. You, come here. Come on! You.
We need room, folks. Please help us out now. Help us out.
Come on, you. You, come on. Get out.
And finally, the long night's vigil seems to be over. For these parents, it will be a night never to be forgotten.
All right, you, get out of here.
I'll wait till all the kids are out.
They're not all going. We're keeping these two. You take the last ones.
Take me instead.
Oh, no. Not with those SWAT guys out there. Look, you take these kids, and we'll keep the rest. and go out smiling.
Where's Ricky? My son hasn't come out yet.
I don't know, Mrs. Hamlin.
Oh, why would they let the town go if all the children aren't out yet?
Let the kids go!
Shut up! We'll let him go when we're ready.
Come on, we made a deal. That was the deal.
Don't worry about it. You just get us out of here. Don't nobody follow us. Everything's gonna be fine. Shut up and get in the car.
Ricky, are you all right?
He's all right. The kid's all right. Get in. Come on.
We had a deal. We made a deal.
Nobody stay away. Nobody stay back. It's gonna be all right. Get out of the way.
You better take
Well, so much for the home edition. Yeah, the whole city's having breakfast and watching this.
You mean they're not sitting there glued to their newspapers waiting for further developments?
As soon as we have an update on this, we'll be back to
PV wins this round. No contest.
Stay in the car. Sit down. Oh, no. What? Just give me the keys. Give me the keys. I get the spare. No time for that. Keys. Don't flag down the car. Go! Go! Come on! Damn! Damn! Just keep the kids in the car. Now, here comes the car. Yo! Yo! Miss! Hey, right here! Miss! Come on, stop me! Come here! Hey! Truck! Go! Go! Oh, good, stop it. Hey, give us a hand! Mr. Colombo, will you go? Whoa! No, stop in the car. All right, look, keep the kids in the car. I'll talk to them. All right.
Howdy, folks. You need a hand.
Yeah, mister, we, a little bit more than a hand, Pop. Need your truck.
Hey, don't use that, mister. Hey, you can take the truck. It's yours. You're welcome to it.
Get the keys, Jake.
Here you are, mister. Move. Move. Freeze. Let the kids go. Let them go. Come on.
Go on.
Don't move.
Okay, take it easy. Move over here. Come on, let's get the truck. That's it.
Mess with the tire.
You guys almost pulled us off. It was set to blow 10 miles back.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Well, kids, tell me, are you having a good time?
An afternoon of recreation for these well-deserving former hostages, courtesy of Mr. Ginty. This is Peggy Day reporting for Channel 6 News in Cowboy Town in New Hall, California.
Thanks a lot, kids. You did a real good job.
Is that going to be the lead story at 6? Hostage kids eat popcorn.
They've been pigging out on junk food all day. In fact, that may be my lead story. Hostage kids throw up.
Mrs. Hamlin, how are you? Billy Newman.
Oh, nice to see you.
Certainly nicer circumstances.
Yeah. Excuse me. Ricky? Where are you going now?
We're all going to see a shootout at OK Corral.
No, you're not. Absolutely not.
Oh, Mom, it's really neat. This guy gets shot and falls off the roof.
I don't want you seeing that. Not after what you've been through. You've been having nightmares enough as it is. Anyhow, we're going home.
I want to go back on the bus with the kids.
You're coming home with me. The last time, when the bus let him off at school, a bunch of kids started picking on him because they didn't get to go to Marineland. All he needs is to be attacked like that.
Maybe the kids were just jealous.
Why should they be jealous? Would they like being kidnapped?
Well, everybody's certainly being generous. You know that Mr. Ginty's trying to establish a scholarship fund so that employee who was held hostage could go to college?
Well, why don't they put up some money for the rest of us?
What kind of money?
For therapy. That was a traumatic experience. These kids aren't going to get over it right away.
I hope you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. It was a damaging experience. Those men hurt my son.
Excuse me, Viv. I hear you're leaving early. Can we go home with you?
Sure.
Oh, thanks a million. I take the bus, but if Loretta doesn't get home and get her shot, it's...
Yeah, we all know about Loretta's diabetes. That's why she got to go free, and all the other kids had to stay behind and take their chances.
Now, here we read those plucky little youngsters spent the day at Cowboy Town.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that nice?
And yesterday they were at an amusement park. Well, I'm very happy for them. But I've had it up to my eyeballs reading about all those fun field trips.
Me too, but it's good human interest stuff. The readers are reading it up.
It's good free publicity, you mean? Those children are being used by Mr. Ginty. I'm reminded of another disaster where hucksters waited outside a mine shaft selling popsicles and souvenirs.
I think your analogy is a little extreme.
The chain is just making the most of the space we give them.
Exactly. I do the same thing if I were the press agent for Mr. Ginty's. But I am not the press agent for Mr. Ginty's. Mr. Grant, we've become part of a publicity stunt.
But the kid's story is still news, and we should run with it. You can see it in the other papers and on television.
And nobody's doing anything that's fresh. I have come to expect that the Tribune can develop a story with more imagination and, frankly, with more pizzazz.
Pizzazz?
Oh, well, you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Sure you do, Lou. She means...
He knows what I mean. Don't you, Mr. Grant?
Sure. You want us to do something different with it. Use our imaginations. Give it a little more...
Go on, Mr. Grant. Say it.
Pizzazz. Don't you have a single shot in here without a guy in a Mr. Guinea suit?
Well, it was hard. They had about 30 of them. A little Green Army.
Well, crop this one so he won't show.
Why?
Because Guineas has had enough of a free ride out of this.
Why? How'd the preliminary hearing turn out?
The case is going to Superior Court. Rossi's over there now. The DA won't even consider plea bargaining with the kidnappers.
How come?
He says that they caused psychological damage to the kids, which he feels comes under the heading of bodily harm. He plans to ask for the stiffest penalty he can get.
Sounds like Mrs. Hamlin.
One of the mothers?
Yeah, she keeps harping on the same theme. How they should be compensated for this.
Compensate? You mean with money?
Well, for damages. She wants somebody to pay for therapy. She goes on about how her little boy is afraid and how he has bad dreams. Half the time, she's saying it right in front of him. I mean, it's like she's coaching him.
Coaching him?
Well, planting the seed, anyhow.
Billy, do you get the feeling that some of these parents might be exploiting this?
I think it's possible.
Interesting. Interesting angle. Why don't you go back there and follow up on it?
Follow up how?
Use this woman as your focus. It sounds as if you're reacting negatively toward her, and I trust your instincts. Stick with her. See how she talks to the boy. See how he responds. See if you can find something to back up what you just told me.
Think I can do that?
Hey, Peggy. Peggy Day. What do you say?
Hi there. How are you?
swell. You don't remember who I am, do you?
Sure. You're a reporter in one of the newspapers. You're
Joe Rossi.
Joe Rossi of
the Tribune.
The Tribune. I told you I remembered.
Don't think I don't appreciate it. What are you doing here? They're letting TV cameras in the trial?
We don't know yet. The station has requested it. I'm here to find out from Judge Strohmeyer.
Strohmeyer? Is that who's handling it? Might as well forget about it then.
Who says?
I says. Don't kid yourself. There isn't a snowball's chance in hell of that man letting cameras in there. No way, no how.
Why not?
Have you ever seen Strohmeyer in action? The man's a terror. He's a real petty tyrant. He's irascible, capricious, arrogant. He's not about to let cameras in there and let you show the world what goes on in his courtroom.
Are you sure?
No. No, nothing in this world is sure. Let's just say I'm 99% certain. I always leave margin for error, whether I need it or not.
Quiet, damn it! This may not be a courtroom, but I will have order here. I am trying to read. Very well, Miss Day. Permission granted. I'll allow your cameras in the courtroom. If you don't shut up, I will hold all or any of you in contempt. Now, I grant your request within the guidelines and restrictions set forth here, plus a couple of my own.
Your Honor, there's considerable evidence that cameras in court can be prejudicial to defendants and disruptive.
We've been through all that. What do you think I am, an idiot? Now, I've read all your arguments, and I find none of them persuasive. Does the prosecutor have any words of wisdom to add to this?
No, Your Honor. We have no objection to your decision.
Well, thank you.
But
what?
But there'll be children testifying, Your Honor.
You worry about your clients, I'll worry about the children. Is that all right?
Yes.
Guess what?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Highness.
In my courtroom, Mr. Patterson, the public's right to know comes first. The media and I have never had any problems. We can establish ground rules that will be acceptable to everyone. Hearing's concluded.
I don't believe it. Since when have he and the media decided to get along?
Probably since he decided to run for re-election.
Oh, Strohmeyer, no way, not a chance. I happen to have inside information. He's planning to retire next year.
Is it as reliable as him letting cameras in here? See you later, John.
Joe.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E. A&E returns to Lou Grant.
I'll tell you what's wrong with cameras in the courtroom. It gives everybody, from the judge to the attorneys to the witnesses, the urge to start showboating. People play to cameras. It's human nature.
Nevertheless, the Supreme Court ruled that the states had the right to okay cameras in court.
Or not okay them, which is what Strohmeyer should have done.
Did it ever occur to you, Lou, that all those people might be kept on their toes by the knowledge that the public was watching?
Yeah, it occurred to me. I was in TV once myself, you know.
It's a bad precedent. Once you start televising trials, lawyers won't want to take unpopular cases. They'll feel the pressure of public opinion. Witnesses won't want to appear.
And you'll run the risk of getting beat on the story.
That, too.
Trial coverage has always been the one place the newspapers have had all to themselves. Oh, I know cameras in the courtroom are going to hurt us. Even so, the cameras belong there. It's another form of freedom of the press.
Good for you, Charlie. I haven't heard the phrase freedom of the press raised in an argument all day.
It's a bad ruling. First of all, TV doesn't explain what's going on. The average guy sitting in front of his TV set doesn't understand what he's watching.
They'll need you to interpret it for them.
I consider that part of my job. In the second place, TV is showbiz. They just go over the fastest, most sensational stuff. I don't trust anybody in TV. I didn't say anything about people who used to be in it.
I understand the community's raising some money for the kids, and they're going to divide it among you equally.
Equally? They didn't all suffer equally. Ricky was kidnapped. I mean, the whole thing traumatized him.
The other kids say I was only kidnapped for an hour.
Only for an hour. Two madmen in a car, you could have been killed.
Look what I got.
What a great bike. Who gave that to you? Your mom?
A bunch of the merchants got together. They gave bikes to all the children.
Mom won't let me ride it, though.
I don't think he's ready for it, emotionally. Besides, I don't want him getting into an accident before the trial.
I picked up some talk about you suing the police.
Yeah, well, my lawyer says the cops had a siege mentality, and that they were the ones that created the climate of hysteria and forced those guys into taking hostages. Oh, excuse me. Well, I guess this has been a pretty exciting time for you.
Yeah, I guess.
How do you feel now that it's all over?
I guess traumatized.
Traumatized?
It means scared. I have these bad dreams, and Mom says I need, what do you call it? Therapy.
I see.
Yeah. What? Billy's piece. It's disappointing. I love that angle she pitched about the parents manipulating their kids, but it doesn't come through.
Well, I see what you mean, but I think it's an easy fix.
I usually don't expect to have to do much to Billy's stuff. But here she's being so careful to make sure no one knows she really doesn't like this woman. She's not making her point.
I admit it is subtle.
If people want subtlety, let them read the New Yorker. Our job is to spell things out.
If we open with the fourth graph where she describes this Mrs. Hamlin, I think it'll start strong.
Yeah. Now here, she says, under his mother's watchful eye. I mean, that just makes her sound like a benevolent mom.
You want to say manipulation?
That's too strong. Coaching. She was coaching him. Why don't we just say coaching? Remind me to tell Billy I'm making these changes. I think I've got another idea how to make this thing work.
Okay, first shot. Second shot.
Oh, I'm serious.
Third shot.
I don't think we need to 80.
Hi, Peggy.
Hi there.
Peggy Day, this is...
Hi, Peg. Listen, are all those guys from your station?
No, all the local stations are here.
With just one camera?
Well, that's part of the ground rules Strohmeyer laid down. We all have to share the feed. We each have our own truck and equipment outside, but we all get the same picture.
I still think that camera's going to distract people.
It shouldn't. The camera won't move for openers. It'll stay right there and use a zoom lens. We're not even allowed to photograph the jury.
What about the lights?
We use available light. I swear people won't even know the camera's there.
Yeah, they will when they read about it in the newspaper. Come on, Billy. Listen, I don't say this very often, but I thought your piece this morning really had something special.
Thanks. Like, what did you like?
Just sounded sort of the way I would have done it.
High praise indeed. But you want to know the truth? I haven't read it.
Ha that'll be the day.
I'm serious. Some neighbor took our paper this morning and the coffee shop was out and I was late getting here.
Yeah.
Rossi, if I got my hands on a paper this morning, the first thing I would have done is read my own story. I admit it, but I didn't.
Well, I just want you to know I thought that was one of the meanest, most merciless jobs you've ever done. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That was a nice piece of Billy's today. Good sharp stuff. She really nailed that lady. Don't you think so?
That was pretty good.
Hey, did you get a look at Wiedemeyer's new secretary?
Is she the one that wears the pink sweaters?
She's got a body that just won't quit.
And I understand she takes dictation at an astonishing 15 words a minute.
Hey, John, we don't often see you in here.
Well, the last time was in 1977. Doesn't seem to have changed much.
Some of the sandwiches are new.
Don't they have coffee?
Yeah, there's a machine right there.
You mean we don't get it for free? There aren't just pots of it?
No, it was an economy move. Remember?
Vaguely. I'll pay you back.
So, what's Billy working on now?
I've got Rossi and her covering the circus.
Circus?
The trial, which will be a circus when everybody starts hamming it up for the TV cameras.
I don't agree with you, not with Judge Strohmeyer on the bench.
Are you kidding? He'll be the worst offender now that he's announced he's running for re-election. You watch. You'll see Mr. Chief Justice up on that bench.
That's very unfair. Strohmeyer is a tough, hard-nosed, no-nonsense jurist. He's not about to let a bunch of TV cameras influence him.
You voted for him, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I voted for him. And we could use a few more like him on the bench. Mrs. Pension, what do you think of Judge Strohmeyer?
Oh, Ned. He just graduated from law school when I first met him. still had his hair. We used to show up at the same parties, hang around with the same crowd. My lord, I've known Ned Strohmeyer for well over 30 years. A dreadful man.
And show beyond a shadow of a doubt that these men did willfully subject the children to grievous bodily harm. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Miss Markham. Mr. Patterson, does the defense wish to make an opening statement?
We do, Your Honor. And it is our contention that the police actually collaborated, in effect, by providing an automobile, only to turn around and to charge my clients with kidnapping.
We shall see, Mr. Patterson, we shall see. It is my job to guarantee that everyone in this proceeding has his, day in court. And now, Miss Markham, you care to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how are you feeling now, Amy, 2 months later?
Scared. Very scared. I have bad dreams.
Thank you, Amy.
This has got to be tough on those kids.
Well, their parents knew that coming in.
Mr. Patterson?
Amy, all the time you were at the birthday party, did either of those men over there do anything at all to harm you? There's no need to be frightened, Amy. Just listen to my questions and then try to answer.
No, I can't.
Your Honor, it's obvious that the child is frightened by the proceedings. I respectfully request that that camera be removed.
Counselor, I will be responsible that your client gets a fair trial in this courtroom. But we will not shroud these proceedings in secrecy. As Judge Learned Hand once observed, the mutual confidence on which all else depends can only be maintained by a brave reliance on free discussion.
The two defendants is Mark Patterson. His first witness, Amy Holtzman, was one of the children held hostage. He proceeded carefully with the little girl. The first reference to the two defendants, however, produced the following reaction.
Amy, all the time you were at the birthday party, did either of the men over there do anything at all to harm you? There's no need to be frightened, Amy. Just listen to my questions and then try to answer.
I can't.
Boy, that is
Peggy Day
typical of those
reporting for
TV
Channel
guys.
6
They pick the most sensational moment, maybe the only sensational moment all day, and slant the whole thing toward it.
What'd you expect on the show? The judge picking at his toupee glue?
Is he wearing makeup, you think? Watch if they show him again. His neck is about 3 shades paler than his face.
He's a golfer. All golfers have two-tone tans.
Speaking of slanted reporting, Lou, I wonder if we could go somewhere for a minute and talk about my article this morning. I just got a chance to read it, and...
Hell of a piece, Billy. I meant to mention it before. Nice writing.
Thanks.
Excuse me. The bartender said you all are from the Trib. Does anyone here know Billy Newman?
Yeah, I do, but he's not here.
Thanks.
I'll let you know if I see him.
Okay.
What'd you say that for?
Why take chances?
Chances of what? How can you be so paranoid?
Hey, who knows what he wants? He's a stranger, right? Could be a nut or a sex offender.
Or a bill collector or some man trying to serve me a subpoena. Rosie, sometimes you amaze me. Sir, I'm Billy Newman.
Oh, good. I have a subpoena for you.
Sometimes I amaze myself.
They want me to serve as a witness for the defense.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
But I
don't want to testify for the defense. I'm a reporter. I don't want to testify for anybody.
Of course you don't. Who would?
And they wouldn't have called me if my story hadn't turned out the way it did.
Don't blame yourself. The damage is done.
I'm not blaming myself.
Atta girl. Just concentrate on your testimony.
That story was deliberately slanted. I didn't write it that way.
I've always felt the reporter shouldn't have to take part in trials.
And there was no need to change my story.
It keeps him from being detached. Don't you agree?
What? Yes, of course I agree. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to testify.
Then don't.
Oh, what do you mean, don't? I was subpoenaed.
That just means you have to show up. You don't have to tell them anything. Just answer minimally. Don't volunteer a thing. Play dumb.
How do I do that?
Oh, Billy. You're a pro. You've covered 1 million trials. You know how to play the game. You can handle those guys. You can dance circles around them.
Did you write this article?
I did.
When asked to describe his feelings during the ordeal, the child glanced first at his mother and then responded as though coached, with words unusually sophisticated for a child his age. Is it your opinion that certain parents coach their children to appear more harmed than they actually were?
Objection, Your Honor. That calls for a conclusion on the part of the witness.
Your Honor, she's a trained observer who had a chance to observe and to study the situation at close hand.
I'll hear the answer.
Did some of the parents seem to coach the children?
It seemed to me they did.
Thank you.
Oh, I think it's good stuff. I think any way you want to cut it.
Do we have some left?
Well, I would have to put this back.
Well, they're on recess right now. I'm just trying to put it all together. They said that he was...
Are you through, Miss Newton? You can't possibly have done enough damage in such a short time.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Wasn't it enough for you to destroy me with your article?
I didn't try
Do you
to
have any idea how my neighbors are treating me now?
I never named you.
You didn't have to. I happen to be the only divorced mother whose son is an only child out of all the parents involved.
It was never my intention to single you out.
You took one look at me and decided you didn't like me. I don't know why, but you set out to do a hatchet job.
Mrs. Hamlin, you're being unfair.
Oh, forgive me. I'm so sorry. I'm being unfair to the reporter from the Tribune. I can just imagine how awful it must feel to have someone turn on you.
Tell me, Ricky, since all this happened to you, how have things been in school?
Okay.
The teacher gave me these drawings, Ricky. I think you have a real talent. But I noticed something about these people's faces, something unusual. Do you know what I'm talking about? These people have no mouths. They all have eyes and ears and noses, but no mouths. Why did you draw them that way, Ricky?
I don't know.
I see. Tell me, do you talk about what happened with your friends?
No.
Oh, you must talk about it sometimes. With your classmates, with someone.
I don't like to talk about it.
I see.
I suppose that could explain him drawing everybody with no mouth.
You missed your calling, Charlie. You'd have made a top-notch psychiatrist.
No need to be sarcastic.
Or a detective, even.
It was merely an observation.
No, I watched the television coverage again last night. I'm 95% sure that judge is wearing makeup.
Someone we know voted for him.
How did I come to be on trial? And you were shivering, right? Were you cold?
Yes.
And then, what did that man sitting right over there, what did he do?
He, gave me his jacket.
He put his jacket on you because you were cold?
Yes.
I see. Ricky, does that seem like the kind of thing that a person would do who was trying to harm you?
Objection. Counsel is asking the witness to speculate about motives.
Sustained.
All right, Ricky. Did you feel threatened when he gave you his jacket? Or comforted?
I don't know.
Both. Threatened and comforted. The man gives the boy his jacket. He acts nice to him. But at the same time, he threatens his life.
The boy does realize that.
Oh, very much. It's part of the ambivalence, as I say. It's part of what makes him so disturbed. His feeling both good and bad about someone. The nice man forces him into the car at gunpoint. But there are also policemen there with guns drawn. It's very clearly a life-threatening situation. He was terrified.
And now?
He's still disturbed. He will be for a long, long time.
So your professional opinion
He was harmed. He suffered psychological damage. I have no doubt.
So your professional opinion
He was harmed. He suffered psychological damage.
Oh, see? How's it coming?
We'll be ready in a
Man
minute.
gives the boy his jacket.
It's a good thing they do edit that stuff they show on the news.
Why's that?
Boy, what they did to you on that stand, you're lucky they didn't show it again on TV.
For a long, long
Thanks.
That's the way the prosecution and defense summed up the case. So now it's up to the jury to decide. Meanwhile, Channel 6 interviewed some of the parents involved. Mrs. Frazier, how do you feel the trial went?
I think it was a fair trial, and I'm hopeful that they'll get what they deserve, to be locked up for a long time.
There's some controversy about the judge's decision to allow television cameras in the courtroom. Were you personally bothered by that?
It didn't bother me. I just hope it doesn't affect the outcome.
That chance.
Do you believe that media coverage has been prejudicial in the trial?
You bet I do.
Right.
You know,
In what way specifically do you feel the media coverage may have influenced people?
Well, one thing for sure. Those slanted articles in the Tribune didn't help.
Your daughter's name is Loretta, right? How is she doing?
Well,
Good morning.
Yeah, they found him guilty.
I know, I heard it on the car radio. Something else kind of interesting. Prosecuting lawyer was offered a very prestigious job in the Attorney General's office.
Doesn't surprise me. She came across very photogenic on the tube.
You don't know that had anything to do with it. In fact, I'd call that whole flap about cameras in court inconclusive.
Well, I'm glad you're so philosophical about it, Charlie. According to the polls, your friend, Judge Strohmeyer, has slipped very badly in his campaign for re-election.
You can't prove TV had anything to do with that.
Didn't help him. He came across as a phony and everybody saw it.
I think it was the makeup. American people simply will not vote for a man who wears makeup or dyes his hair.
Is that right?
It's a proven fact.
Hi. Hi. He loves that bike. I'm scared to death every time he gets on it, but what am I going to do? I'm here for a very unprofessional reason, to apologize. For my article, my testimony, everything. I'm genuinely sorry.
We got our judgment. All's well that ends well.
Here, let me... Well, what appeared in the paper was misleading. And I want you to know I regret it.
You know, you weren't completely wrong.
Oh, I mean about coaching, Ricky.
Well, I did.
What?
Sure. Wouldn't you have? Miss Newman, do you have any children of your own?
Not yet.
Well, let me tell you about being a parent. I would have done anything, to get Ricky the therapy he needed and to put those two animals away where they can't harm somebody else's child. So, yeah, I coached him. I was willing to fight as dirty as I had to. And someday, when you have a child of your own, you come back here and you tell me then if you do things any differently.
Lou, we still haven't had it out about what you did to my article.
Can't wait. It's been a long day.
You've been avoiding me, hoping I'll cool off. Well, I haven't. You only know about Mrs. Hamlin through me. You get all your information secondhand. Now, I may not be the best writer in the world, but one thing I've got going for me is my integrity. So when something I write gets changed around to satisfy someone else's notion about what makes good copy, it makes me... It makes me furious.
Livid, right? Outraged.
Damn it, now you're even rewriting my yelling at you, but I am really outraged.
Billy, I hear you. But, you know, I made a note to call you that night to explain we rewrote you.
Did you call me?
No, I lost the note, but the thought was there.
Well, good, because there's a big difference between rewriting and changing an entire story.
I got you. Is that all?
Yes.
What are you going to do now?
Go home.
You have a little time. I've got this story of Sweeney's, and it needs, I don't know, something. You want to take a crack at it?
Rewrite it?
Yes. Be sure to preserve the integrity of the piece.
I'll try.
He's considered the most dangerous man in Europe. But just wait until he meets Sherlock Holmes. A bad news baron is on the run on Sherlock Holmes Mysteries tonight. Now a cop plays a dangerous game of hide and seek when he goes undercover to find a crime boss. James Valentino stars in Police Story, next on A&E.